Sorry, from now on I'm going to do a funny face. That's going to be my intro because I don't like intros and I don't want to waste your time. That way I don't have to say anything to waste your time because I'm going to be saying a lot in these videos, as you may know by now if you've been watching my channel. So, there's your face for today. Okay? And if you can't see my face because I'm doing a slideshow, one of my chronological filing cabinet files, I will make a funny sound, but today you get both. Woo! Alright? Okay. So moving on, I'm in a very good mood today. This is what we're going to be discussing today. We're going to be discussing the theory of simulation. Okay? Now, I don't know how much of a theory it really is, because it's starting to feel more real than the world around me. I'm not sure if you've experienced this, but I'd imagine at some point in your life you have, just the feeling that you're still asleep. And when you're asleep, the feeling that you're still awake. Well, let's open up with a concept that I've had since I was a child. So, when you have a dream, is it not more of a nightmare? Because a dream would imply that everything is just going the way that you wish it could when you're awake, and everything is showing the way that things should be seen when you're awake, right? And then what happens? You awake, and it's nothing even near to how it was in the dream. So surely that's a nightmare, isn't it? And vice versa. When you're having a nightmare, is that not really a dream? Because you're running away from the most darkest, ugliest, monstrous force that one's unconscious, subconscious mind can imagine. And then you wake up and you are so grateful and appreciative that whatever that was, it wasn't real. At least not in this world, in your reality, right? That's a dream, isn't it? Oh, you see? So, that being said, when you start to question, and it is your reality, this is the point, because your reality might not be the same to anyone or everyone else's. How do you know that a certain sound sounds the way it does to you as it does to them? Same with a taste, with a smell, with the way you see something, feel something. It's not just how it feels when you touch it, it's how whatever that thing feels when it's been touched by you. Whether it be human, whether it be an animal, whether it be flora, fauna, the environment, wildlife, nature. Do you see? So, I wish I could give you more answers and questions to this one, but it's something that I've been experiencing, studying, researching for a long time, and will continue to do so, because I know there is an answer, but I don't think it's a singular one. And even in that sense, a fact is always based on opinion, right? So any time, including myself, when I say I'll only give you the facts, I mean it. I fucking mean it. I will only give you the facts that I can possibly, probably, like down to possibility and probability, comprehend. Yeah, with my mind and my heart. That's all a fact is, isn't it? Because the things that we consider facts were usually based on science, and you should all know by now how much of science is false, is fake, because it's been used for what it is. like they're saying it's an exact science. If it's an exact science, there's no arguing. You see, there's no dispute, there's no questioning, and there's no refute. So what happens is we get put in a simulation, yeah, of facts and falsehoods, and we don't know. You might feel it, you might know it in yourself, but it can't really be proven. We seem to think it's enough for, the majority to say, well, I'm not, I'm just throwing a few things out. The majority will say, you know what, so the Earth is globed, or the moon is solid, or, we've been around for 5 billion trillion years. Whatever it is, if the majority say it, we seem to go, oh, well, it must be true, and, you wouldn't have all these people saying it. Is that good enough to be classed as a fact to you? Because it isn't to me. When people say, oh, well, of course, I don't know, let's throw a few more out. Dinosaurs existed, or evolution, Ah, well, 6 billion years ago, this happened, which caused that to happen. Okay. Well, we know that because they're telling us that they know that. How the fuck do they know that? Were they around? Were they around at the dawn of time? Was you around? So why you believe you're a human being, right? Why are you taking the man-made opinion that they've tried to turn into fact, that's only based on their man-made opinion, and you're hearing it with your man-made ears? Okay, well, not ears, but your interpretations. Okay, we have human being interpretations. So you've taken a fact that's actually an opinion as a human being from another human being, and that's it. And that's enough for you to go, well, I guess it must be true then. All this stuff, because the majority say it, the minority must agree. We have no proof. Just accept it. That's simulation. Do you understand? That's simulation on its most basic premise, let alone what I'm about to get into with you. So, with that out the way, let's look at a few of my rote notes. Okay, move this a minute. Right. Right, okay, so simulation on the larger scale, as we've just done the smaller scale. So the funny thing is, the scales don't outweigh each other. They still hold the same amount of water, as you'll see. Right, so we'll start with, again, the basic premise that if simulation theory is anything but a theory, then, simulation is artificial, right? And if it's artificial, then so is its intelligence, right? And if its intelligence is artificial, then it means it must be something that is out of our control organically, sentiently, as well as being out of our understanding organically and sentiently. Okay? This is why if you try to talk to someone about something like this, it confuses them, because people they become confused by what they don't understand. People say they fear it. You fear what you don't understand. Yeah, you do, but you fear it. You can't understand it because you're confused. You see what I'm saying? Think about it. It's the same with any other human. I'm not saying me trying to backyard, I'm not afraid of any other human being on the face of this earth. Do you know why? I'm no bigger or better. It's got nothing to do with that. It's because they're a human being and you're a human being. Do you understand? They're just a human being. Make sense? But the simulation will tell you, oh, no. This person's capable of this, that, and the other. So if you're not, or at least that's the thing, you are, because you are a human being. It makes you think. Think. What did I tell you about thinking? Know and feel. Don't have to think. You don't need to think. That's what you got your gut instinct for. The simulation is locked down and shut down all of this. We only need to use a little bit. All of this. These are the tools that we used to have in our toolbox. That's why I'm trying to replace them for you. That's why I'm trying to invoke them for you. I'm trying to let you know they're in there. They have used the simulation, and I'll get to who they are shortly, but the list isn't short, so I won't go too far into it. I'll just get to the core source, which is the artificial intelligence, essentially. Okay. They have used this simulation to shut down our mind and our hearts. Here's another one. You say this, people will laugh in your fucking face. Okay. So, not many people believe in extrasensory perception, right? Action at a distance. Okay. I don't like saying psychic powers, but yeah, okay. No one believes in any of that shit, right? The main reason why people don't believe in it is because other people don't believe in it. You see, we have nothing to prove. We have nothing that would prove that it doesn't exist. But we do have a few things to prove that it does. But it's still not enough. So we know, let's get atheistically, scientifically factual here. And I'm not on about, that ain't a dig at atheists, okay? This is a dig at the people that call themselves atheists, and they know they're not, okay? They're just trying to stir up the beehive, okay? The hive mind of the bee is the queen bee, okay? And that's the one that's in charge of this simulation. We'll get there, okay? So, we'll go down that route for a minute. So we know as a fact, use your own facts against them. If these things are facts and you say they're not, and then you get classed as a fucking nutter, then why can you not use any other facts? Fact, our brain only uses a certain percentage, the rest does nothing at all. It's a paperweight. It's a soul weight. Yeah, thinking is anyway. Right? So, is that not enough factual theory that we used to have a way of using the rest? And if there was a way of using the rest, what would the rest entail? Psychokinesis? Telepathy? All the kinesis is in it? Cryokinesis? Pyrokinesis? Electrokinesis? We don't know, do we? Could we join each other's nervous systems? Create a mass consciousness? Not a hive mind. That's one. That's everyone with the same mind. I'm talking about a mass consciousness where everyone shares what they know and what they feel. And more of what you know and what you feel is of others than yourself. That's the difference between a hive mind and a mass consciousness. Okay, for anyone that doesn't know, because they make sure you don't know with simulation. Okay? To be assimilated is to be part of the simulation. That's why you will find NPCs, organic portals, empty seaters, human prison bars, however, whatever and however you want to call them and take them, they are put here to keep you believing in the one thing that does not deserve any kind of belief whatsoever. To a certain degree, even evil should be believed in, because if you don't believe it's there, you're open to the attack of it. You see what I'm saying? But a simulation is non-existent. Okay? So you can believe something or you can believe in something. Do you see the difference? You should believe that the simulation has you assimilated. But if you believe in the simulation, you're fucking blind, leading the blind, aren't you? Do you see? You're another cube in the grid of the matrix that we are trapped in. Do you want to get out of it? I want you to get out of it. Your heart cannot be heavy. Okay? The things you believe will make your heart heavy. The things you believe in, depending on what they are, can take that away and make it light. That's one of the main things you need. If you want to get out of this prison. See this? This is the prison. You see the heart chakra in the middle? The upside down triangle. Looking through the bars. Yeah? That's the one that's in control of this grid. It wants a heart chakra. And all the time that our heart is heavy, it has it. The upside down triangle is the woman, the mother, the opposite to the father, like I've already said. Okay? It is the divine feminine. It is the unholy trinity. It is Satan, Lilith, and Eve. They are in control of the artificial intelligence. At least they think they are. And the artificial intelligence is in control of the broadcasting frequencies. I'm just going to say it how it is, because any way I say it's going to make me sound like I should be in a fucking asylum. This is the theory. Them three control the artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence controls the broadcasting frequencies given off by the rings of Saturn. The broadcasting frequencies given off by the rings of Saturn satellite themselves off the moon. Okay? I don't know the technical jargon, so forgive me if you can. The moon bounces these frequencies down onto the World Wide Web. Okay? Now I'm not talking about the internet, I'm talking about the web. There is a gridded web around the earth. Okay? And this grid uses the power that the moon is giving off to assimilate high density light, which creates the illusion of reality through pixels and formed mass, some being people, organic portals in brackets, some being objects, some nature in brackets, and the rest being everything that we see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. Electrical signals into the brain, not the mind, the brain. You see the difference? If it was the mind, you'd wake up like that and you'd know the difference. Same as a dream. You believe it when you're in it, don't you? Same as a nightmare. You can't believe what's happening in it, but you still believe it, don't you? It's a bit of a layman's way of terming all this, but I'm trying to break it down. One, because I don't know it as well as I am still trying to learn it. And two, if there's anyone out there that are on that same basic premise, then hopefully it'd be easier to understand. Because it is easy to understand on a basic premise. You're either awake or you're asleep. Unfortunately, most of us are still asleep even once we've awoken. You see what I'm saying by that? Won't be a moment. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to pop my earphone, headphone, microphones back on charge. Could hear this fit sounding bird in my ear going, Valerie Lowe, Valerie Lowe. Or was she really saying that? Was she even in the headphones? Maybe it was all in my head? But if it was in my head, maybe it was part of the simulation. How can you tell? I'll tell you how you can tell, alright? You can tell by listening to what your mind and your heart tell you, okay? Show you. Show and tell. It's only when others show you and tell you things that you can be deceived. Have you not noticed that? And yeah, you can deceive yourself, but it's usually based on what you've been shown and what you've been told. So the way that I believe you can show and tell yourself what's real and what's fake as far as a simulation would go in theory would be the idea, the concept of emotion itself. Use your empathy, because no matter whether we're plugged in somewhere, perhaps on Saturn in a never-ending infinite cyber crypt, you know, or we are actually here, it's just that nothing else is. Your emotions are still real. They're real. Your sense, maybe I shouldn't even say sense, you know, like common sense is like the simulation version of mass consciousness, isn't it? It's common. It's a sense that is common, so most have it. But maybe you have it because they do, because they've told you if you don't have it, you have no common sense, so you're a fucking idiot. You see what I mean? But most common sense is just common. It's not sensible because it's mainly just organic portals agreeing with each other. So careful with common sense. It's better to be commonly sensible. Love is a prime example. Your love for living, for the lives of others, your children, your parents, your friends, your siblings. That's real. That's real. That's there's nothing that can put that into you. You know, the spider can use its legs to put in all these different thought patterns, which is why thinking is dangerous for you. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why I say it. Okay? It can fuck with your senses. But this, it has no control over. None whatsoever. It's how you know what comes from it is real. That's what art is. Art comes from the heart, which is also an anagram for earth, as I always tell you. That's not a simulation. Everything telling you that it is, that's a simulation. You see? If every single human being living right now knew what we're talking about, and I don't mean what I'm telling you, because I don't know. I don't know enough. I know what I feel what I know. I don't know enough. I feel more than what I know at the moment. And I feel like there's a lot more to this that is hidden behind what there's too much of, which is false, fake, counterfeit, illusion, simulation. I think, in fact, I know, and I feel that this concludes part one, because part two is going to be slightly different. So, hopefully that's helped. Hopefully that has helped you to get off the grid a bit, even if it's just in your mind and your heart, because to really get out of here, the only way is your soul. Your soul is your ship, it's your vessel, your vehicle. Sorry, it's the vehicle. No, let's get this right before I go. Your soul